now for Spotlight Indianapolis with your host, Lisa Howe.
Good morning and welcome to Spotlight Indianapolis. Our weekly program focuses on people and organizations that are creating positive impact every day, including events and current issues that influence our city. Now, last year, approximately at this time, we welcomed to our studio leaders from an organization created to lead, inspire, and advance women in the workplace. Integrating Women Leaders, or IWL, has gained national attention for its expertise in leadership development for women, online resources to help women, and high-energy conferences which have literally helped thousands of women redefine their careers and advance in the workplace. Now, if this is your first time tuning into Spotlight Indianapolis and you're launching 2015 with some kind of makeover in mind, I challenge you to assess the job you go to every day. Is this the career you planned on? Is this the occupation you envisioned for yourself after high school or college? Time isn't the problem. It's a challenge, just like all the other things in your life you balance so very well. The life experiences you've had to this date can be redirected to build a new career. Take some time now, stay with us, and we'll provide the resources to help you reinvent or create your own personal brand. On today's program, we'll meet with the Executive Director for Integrating Women Leaders Foundation, and we'll also speak with the Executive Producer about an inspirational story about the way IWL has impacted her life. We'll provide tools you need to create a brand new you in 2015. So today I'm honored to welcome to our studio the Executive Director for Integrating Women Leaders, Maggie Anderson. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning.
We also welcome to our studio board member and executive producer, Missy Apple Nuts. Good morning, Missy.
Good morning.
Thank you, ladies, for giving us some time today. Maggie, you're returning to our program, and we're glad you've come back to talk to us again about IWL. I understand you've had a lot of growth over the last year.
Yes, we have. Well, first of all, thank you for having us back, and I'm excited to be here and share more about IWL. We have had an exciting year, and we're anticipating a great 2015. So I'll be happy to share some of our plans for that and moving forward.
From my experience with IWL, I'm not surprised you've had growth. I had the opportunity to sit in on last year's convention. It was high energy, engaging. People were so excited when they left that conference. It was amazing to see.
Yes, it's just a fun day, and you're right. The energy is the best part. I mean, that's the best day of the year for us at IWL, and the women are jazzed and ready to go. It's a jam-packed day full of great content, and that's the feedback we get time and again is that it's just a very, very high energy and impactful day.
Great. Now, well, Maggie, tell us a little bit about yourself. What was the career path that led you to IWL?
Sure, I'd be happy to share. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, but I came to Indianapolis to go to Butler University, and I graduated.
Great school?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and great college of business. Mm-hmm. So I graduated with a degree in business marketing. And in my time there as an undergrad, I met Jennifer Browning Holmes, who's our founder and president. And I was speaking very briefly, about 5 to 10 minutes, about a project that I had done. And she approached me afterwards. She was there with her daughter, Jordan. We got to talking, and we really hit it off. And I told her about a paper that I had written, a capstone paper about women's leadership and how women and men lead differently. And she looked at me right then, and she just pointed and she said, "You're hired."
Wow. You went right to the core of what her message was with the foundation.
Right. It was a surreal moment. I kind of just looked at her and I said, "Well, I didn't ask you for a job, but okay."
Yeah, definitely.
And that was great. And she actually held the first annual IWL Women's Leadership Conference a few weeks later. So I went to that conference as a volunteer and just sat there soaking up all this information. Was writing frantic notes from the amazing speakers that were there and kind of just taking it all in. And from there, I started as the first intern for IWL. Came back a few years later in my undergrad career again as an intern, and then started full-time with IWL in 2013.
Great. As a marketing director, is that correct?
Yes, as the director of marketing and
communications.
And communications, yeah. And that kind of grew in that year to include business development on top of that. And then now, as of January 1st of this year, I'm the executive director of our newly formed 501c3 nonprofit, which is an exciting challenge, one that I'm very, very open for and I'm taking very seriously. And I think there's going to be great things to come for the foundation. We're off to a great start.
That's great. Now, what was the thought process behind growing it into that capacity, into a foundation?
Sure, yeah. I think being a nonprofit was something that Jennifer had envisioned from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And really, when you think about it, what we do as an organization has always been about kind of this charitable mission about helping women, supporting women. So it's educational. And for that reason, it seemed like a natural transition for us to be a nonprofit.
It makes sense, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Now, Missy, tell us a little bit about you. What led you to IWL?
Well, let's see. I was a single mom, newly divorced, feeling very fearful, looking, and just had landed a job that I had no idea what I was doing, but I was selling, and I knew I could do that and do that well. But I had this sense of feeling behind. And I read an article about Marsha Robb at Defender Direct then, and I said to myself, I need to meet her, and just resonated with her story. And I actually Googled her number and cold called her, and she met with me, and I just conducted an informational interview. And I said, I've been home raising kids for 12 years. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need to be around women like you. I need to be around strong women who can help me, who I can learn from. And so she introduced me to Jennifer Browning Holmes. I had coffee with Jennifer and just said, can I volunteer? Can I hand out water? I will do whatever you want me to do. And then it was the second IWL conference. And so I ended up on a site walk when they were choosing the venue and knew I could fill a need. They didn't have anyone calling the show. And I had not done it at that level before, but I knew I could, or I thought I could. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yes, I can do this. Absolutely, I can do this.
Good.
So, the day of the show, I thought I was going to get sick.
Oh my gosh.
But it was great fun. And the show went just very well. And so since then, I've been calling the shows, producing the shows, and gotten more involved with, making sure the content is congruent and our messaging is strong and stays to the point that we're trying to convey. Mm-hmm. And they asked me to be on the board the following year, and I've just been a part of it ever since.
Great. So everything on the presentation, the lighting, the sound, you're in charge of all of that, the way it is presented.
Right.
Okay.
I called the lights, the sound. My favorite is running the cameras and capturing the moments. When there's something, aha moments, is always having that camera, that second camera. I have him roaming all over the place to capture the moments because it's being videotaped as well, and we'll use those shots later.
So you're creating a presentation, and in all of this, you also created a new you through IWL.
Exactly. Yeah, the best part about being on this board and a part of this organization, again, are the women that you meet, and the board members are just these powerhouse women. They don't have it all together, but they're just mighty. They are taking, what's the next right thing? What's the next right thing? And boy, they're doing it. They are movers and shakers. And no one's perfect. No, I always had this in my head that, oh gosh, if I could just be like, her. She's the CEO of a company and she's just done so much. If I could just, get to that level. And it's like, no, just do that next right thing. What direction are you headed in? And that's what I love about IWL is that we're all about bringing resources to women in all areas of their lives. Right.
And celebrating the talents and skills they already have.
Exactly. And okay, so what's the next right step for you? And here are some resources.
Sure. And as much as you may have been looking at some of those women on the board thinking, how can I be more like her?
Right.
There are other people looking at you, I would assume, and are thinking, how can I be like Missy Apple Nuts?
It's been a journey, yeah.
I'm sure it has. If you have just tuned in, you're listening to Spotlight Indianapolis. We're meeting with Maggie Anderson and Missy Apple Nuts of Integrating Women Leaders Foundation. They are discussing the foundation. We're finding out more about it, and actually 2 conferences that will happen this year that you can take advantage of. Now, Maggie, tell us, before we launch into the conferences, tell us a little bit about your website and what IWL is all about.
Sure. Well, our mission, IWL exists to develop individual women through empowerment, support, and connections. That's at our core, and we think about that continually in everything that we do.
We may have somebody right now wanting to log in and look you up. What is your website?
Yeah, I would encourage you to go to www.iwlbrandyou.com. We've got some great resources out there. I would encourage you also to join our newsletter, our email newsletter, to find out more as we go, some of our exciting updates. We always try to share relevant news and information with the women that engage with us, and that's a great resource. And also look for some of the videos that are online, because we've got great content. Arland Communication does a fantastic job with our video production. It'll give you a glimpse at the day. It'll show that energy that we're talking about. It'll show some of the speakers, and it'll give you an idea of what kinds of things that we talk about that day.
So I am a listener who is, or maybe I've found this online, doing exactly what we challenged everybody to do at the beginning of this show. It's a new year. I want to reinvent myself. They get online and find out more about the conference. Do they just come to the conference? Can they log in and start taking advantage of some of the online resources immediately?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would encourage them to really sift through the website and look at some of the content that we've shared. Like I said, joining our newsletter, that's a great place to start. But actually attending the conference, we're going to open up registration in March. So I would encourage you to mark your calendar right now. The Indianapolis conference, 6th annual Brand You conference, is going to be on September 1st at the Marriott East. I'm also extremely excited to announce that we have expanded and that we will be also having a conference in 2015 in Louisville. That date is May 21st, and that's at the downtown Louisville Marriott. So if you can make it to that one as well, it will be the same theme. It will be Brand You, but it will be a Louisville conference through and through. We will have Louisville speakers. We have some wonderful support from some corporate sponsors there, including Brown-Forman, UPS, Norton Healthcare, Kentucky One Health, Fifth Third Bank. So we have just been overwhelmed by that support. Humana has been a great support as well at the program level.
That's a huge company in Louisville.
Absolutely. So we've been so excited by the welcoming that we've had there. There's a need for it, which we discovered early on in our market research. So we're excited to go there and just reach more women and have more impact.
Well, and what I liked about the conference, too, from what I saw, it's all walks of life. Women are coming from all areas, all occupations. So you will find someone that you can connect with and network with, or somebody or a position you aspire to move into. You can reach those people and make some real life-changing decisions right now. Louisville's only,
2 hours.
Is it 2 hours even from Indy? I would have thought even less. Maybe that's the way I drive. Yeah, it's only maybe an hour and 15 minutes for me. But no, I think it's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
And then that's in May, and then the other one is in September.
Yep, May 21st and September 1st.
Just moving back over to you, Missy. I know that you are the executive producer. So with the growth of the conference, are there things that you have to take into account? You want to make sure that nobody gets left behind. You reach all those people in a larger venue. How do you handle that with the resources that you have? Your audiovisual, your...
Yeah, so we partner with an AV company called Clear Sound, and Bill Hines is the owner there, and they do a fabulous job. They've been with us for 4 or 5 years now. And we're just very cognizant of, the experience when they walk in. I mean, practical things like, can everyone see? Is the lighting good? You want to create a mood, but everyone can see content.
The big screens in the front of the stage.
Exactly. It's well lit. I mean, there is definitely a wow factor to what we do, but nothing that is distracting from the messaging. So that is always at the forefront of my mind, is all about getting that message across. So I am very particular about, we always start on time and we have a good start, being very clear about our messaging, and then we end on time and we have a solid ending as well, so that when the women are walking away, it's very important that they understand, and have documented that the messaging is clear.
Sure.
That's a very important part of what we do, just the logistical, the practical, the technical.
Sure.
And so we pay a lot of attention, and that's my baby. So,
And in keeping with the theme of developing women in the workplace, we may have listeners who are students. Do you take on interns who are in lighting production that may want to come and help? It would be a great opportunity for them to get some experience working with you.
yeah, absolutely. I've not had that. We've not discussed that, but yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, that would be amazing.
Butler
Yeah,
and
very open to
IUPUI
that.
and
Mhm.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
we have Butler interns every semester, usually in the marketing function.
Oh,
But that's
okay.
definitely something that we could consider in the future.
Absolutely. There'd be
Definitely.
opportunity for sure.
If you've just tuned in, you're listening to Spotlight Indianapolis. We're meeting with Maggie Anderson and Missy Applenotz of Integrating Women Leaders Foundation, IWL. This is a local organization founded by Jennifer Browning Holmes. It helps engage and help women advance in the workplace by showing them different leadership opportunities. And Maggie, it occurs to me that when you first launched with IWL, the thing that Jennifer recognized about you is that you saw a difference between a male leader and a female leader.
That's right.
Can you expound on that a little bit? What differences do you see?
Well, at the end of the day, what we talk about is just that men and women have different needs. They learn differently, they lead differently. But also women face different obstacles than men in their careers. So some of the things that we talk about, there's some unconscious bias that plays a role in some of this. I like to say, every single person is biased in some way.
Definitely.
So it's understanding that, it's recognizing that. But the other step for me, and I just had a conversation about this yesterday, it's about not only recognizing it, but then owning it. So as a leader in an organization, or even if you're just trying to take control of your own career, knowing that that's something that you need to own for yourself. What do I know about my leadership style? What do I know about the obstacles that I may face? And then what do I need to do to, one, change that for myself or change that for my team?
The team you're leading, right? Because every person that's part of that team takes direction or follows based upon different triggers that you need to be able to identify what those are to reach them and modify your presentation slightly with each person. Is
Right.
that part of what IWL is also teaching?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that comes on the management consulting side of the business. So we work with organizations all the time with talking about their women's initiatives or affinity groups internally. We talk about diversity and inclusion. We talk about the retention and recruitment of women. Because as we see, we talk about this all the time, the business case for women has been made. The more women you have in your leadership, the better bottom line you do have. So,
and what have your studies attributed that to?
Well, it's diversity. It's diversity in its own right, but it's also diversity of thought. The more perspectives that you have, the better you're going to be.
So you're saying it impacts growth, it impacts productivity, the synergy within the organization, all of that.
Absolutely.
Diversity enhances that.
Absolutely.
I can totally see that. I can see that as a way to, if you're wanting to advance to the next level, you need to think outside the box. You want to broaden your pool of ideas from a more diverse crowd. That's great.
And Lisa, can I tag on to that? One of the
Certainly.
things I love about IWL is that we do a good job of capturing the feedback from everyone who attends. So like and from that data that we receive, some of the general session workshops will include things like that generational diversity, the women operating in a male-dominated fields like technology,
Good.
for one, negotiating, having career conversations, mentoring, financial topics, leading with courage, strategic thinking, and managing conflict in work are just a couple of the topics that we would cover on the tracks that we offer.
So that's the day starts with a general session, opening session, then you go into workshops.
Yes.
That was going to be, I'm glad you said that, Missy, because to give everyone an idea, a slice of life of what a convention is like, do they need to stay overnight if they go to Louisville, or does it end at a time that they could still drive back?
They certainly can.
Okay.
That's an option. We'll end at 4 that day.
4
So there
o'clock.
should be plenty of time. To come back if you are coming from Indianapolis.
Sure. Tell me about some of the corporate sponsors. I know your board is from all walks of life. Tell me a little bit about that. Who would like to take that question?
Some of our sponsors, and they've just been amazing, like Roche, Eli Lilly, Ice Miller, Butler, Merrill Lynch, Covance, Rolls-Royce,
Wow.
Zimmer, Walmart, Fine Line Printing Group, True You, which is the spinoff of a Defender Direct, Fifth Third Bank, Anthem WellPoint. We've got
we could go on.
Yeah.
So
We've got some
all of
great
the
support.
top
Yeah.
Indiana-based companies are your corporate sponsors. That's great. And do these board members then, are they speakers during the convention and leading workshops?
Some of our board members will be a part of that. We also try to offer that to our corporate sponsors. We love to highlight one of their leaders. They're obviously investing in the right things. They agree and in our mission of supporting women. So we love to put them on stage and highlight that. But we also work very purposefully in getting a wide variety of industries, people at different levels, different generations, but also having like the small business perspective involved in that sort of thing. Very diverse on stage and in those workshops.
So a sponsor doesn't necessarily have to be a corporate entity. They could be an association or foundation themselves that possibly has made a strong investment in developing a women's leadership series within their membership base.
Yes,
they
absolutely.
can contact you as well to be a sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always trying to collaborate with like-minded organizations. Indiana Commission for Women has been a sponsor for many years. Vision
example.
2020. We're in partnership now with Mentoring Women's Network, which we're very excited about. So, yes, absolutely.
I bet you have some great stories of special moments during a convention, a networking, an aha moment when somebody was in a workshop and or they came and just said how the conference or IWL changed their lives. Would you like to share any of those?
Well, I can tell you that probably the best feedback I got this past year was from somebody who attended the conference, said to me, I've been to conferences my entire career. I've been my whole life, and I've never been to one that was about me.
Oh, wow. That's a very good perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's a great way to think about it, because that's what we're about. That's what we're striving to achieve. But, we don't have our speakers on stage necessarily just saying, this is how I did it, or this is my life, kind of just giving that perspective. We want them to give very, very actionable steps for these women to take.
Yeah.
Not only am I going to share with you what I've done, but here's what I see that you could do, or here's the, impactful moments for me. And I think that was just so cool to hear that that's something that was recognizable to one of our attendees.
There are so many times in our lives when we might have to reinvent ourselves or may choose to reinvent ourselves. Missy, you obviously had a reason that made you look back at yourself and say, I want to be where do I go from here? That's a scary time for women, I would bet. But it doesn't have to be a scary time. It could be, I've done a great job as a mother. I've raised my children. I chose to stay home. And now I'm still at a point where the kids are going off to college, or I want to reinvent myself. What advice would you give them since you've made this transition?
Yeah, the first thing that pops into my head is, just do not be fearful. Don't let the fear hold you back. I had no idea what my potential was until I just took that step. You feel the fear and gosh, just fight through it and just do that next right thing. If you don't know what to do, just pick something and do it. My big thing was I'm a firm believer in the informational interview. And I would go to these women. I'm like, Marcia Robb, can I have 20 minutes of your time? I'm not selling you anything. This is my situation. I want to learn from you. Here are my questions. Would you please just 20 minutes?
What are some of those questions?
If you were me, if you were in my situation and I want to be successful. Now, for me, I was a single mom. I was making like literally $15 an hour. I was just scraping by with these 3 boys. And I had this huge financial pressure on me. So I need to make money. I need to provide for myself. I need to provide for my boys. That was front of mind. So, what if you were me, what would you do? How do you get from point A to point B? Okay, so now I'm at point B. Okay, how can I become just extremely successful here? What would you do? And then she gave me some great advice. And then one of my last questions I always ask is, who else do you know that I could speak with? 20 minutes of their time. And I always stick to that and go. And it's a great, fabulous way to land a job as well.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it shows your motivation
Right.
and commitment. And you're right. If that person inspired you, most probably there was some other person who inspired them.
Right.
Good questions.
Yeah, and you just you have to think through, okay, where do I want to go? What's the general area? And kind of formulate your questions from there.
Certainly.
Yeah. And seek out those people that are doing what you would like to do.
Well, you are a success story. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Maggie, you did this so young. I mean, our listeners can't see you. I know when you graduated from school, and I know you're very young to be launching into this. You figured it out early in your career. What are some of your goals now for 2015 with IWL personally?
Personal goals. Well, like I said, this new foundation is a welcome challenge for me. So a lot of my goals revolve around that. Our board, Missy alluded to the fact that it's just a wonderful, wonderful group of women and men.
Oh, that's right.
That's true. IWL does have men.
Yes, that's right, Scott. But I think we're now transitioning to be a nonprofit, and I think my goals are going to be around harnessing the potential in that group and getting everyone behind this great foundation. We just had a vision retreat a few weeks ago that went very well. It's all about that collaboration, and I really want to help cultivate that. I want to be a resource to all of our board members. And these 2 conferences this year, I think we owe it to ourselves, but we owe it to our sponsors and those who are supporting us to just make those the best days we can.
Very good. I can easily see why you're the executive director. Very nice.
Thank you.
And Jennifer must be very proud. I hope we get her back on the show too. And ladies, we're right at the end of our show, and this has been so nice to sit and talk with you. I appreciate the time you've given us, but I want to make sure our listeners know about the 2 conferences. So Maggie, again, the first one is in May?
May 21st in Louisville and September 1st in Indianapolis. And you can go to www.iwlbrandu.com to learn more.
Is the cost of the conferences the same?
It is the same.
Okay.
It's $299 for an individual. Early bird registration for Indianapolis will be $275, so that'll be in March. So stay tuned for that. And then there are table opportunities if you want to come with 10 people. That's $2,700. That's a great opportunity.
Oh, definitely. So work within your organization.
Yes.
If an organization wants to send people, you probably reach out to human resource directors a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Oh well, ladies, good luck this year.
Thank you.
am so.
Thank you.
I'm not surprised, but I'm very glad to hear that IWL is continuing to grow, and I hope next year we can have you back again and hear about that it's quadrupled in size. You have a movement that's going here. I wish you much success for 2015, and again, you want to check out iwlbrandu.com, correct? Thank you for meeting with us today. I also want to thank our in-studio producer, Don Hauser, our executive producers, Matt Hiblin and Glee Rennick-May, for making this program possible. Thank you for tuning into Spotlight Indianapolis. Go out and make it a great day.